Are you looking for a bag that carries your laptop, your essentials, and your handgun and does it all in a low-profile manner? Well, stay tuned for our review of the Maxpedition Entity 23 bag. I'm John McQuay with 8541 Tactical, and we are here today with our review of the Maxpedition Entity 23 backpack. Now, this is a brand new backpack for Maxpedition for 2018. We talked to them at the SHOT Show about their brand new Entity line, and we've had some time now to take this guy out into the wild, use it as our daily backpack, and get a good feel for how the different features work. Now, the bag right now is loaded with my regular essentials that I carry with me on a day-to-day basis. Now, this maybe isn't what I carry every time I leave the house, but if I'm going to work or going out to do any kind of work, say in the coffee shop, or I need to bring my laptop with me, that kind of thing, then this is the bag that I take with me. This is the bag that slings on my shoulder every day now when I go to work in my regular cop job. So it carries things like my SOP manual and my laptop and that kind of stuff. So I've got a good idea of really how well it works as a daily backpack. And the reality is, when we are talking about concealed carry backpacks, and this is a concealed carry backpack, the concealed carry functionality really is secondary to how well the bag works for your daily routine. If the bag doesn't work well for your daily routine, then you're not going to want to carry it, and then you're not going to have the concealed carry capability of it. So primarily we want to look at it as how well it works as a backpack to carry your stuff, and then secondly, how well it works as a concealed carry device. Now, the Entity line of backpacks has some really cool features that span the entire line, but we are mainly going to talk about the 23 here. The first feature that I want to bring to mind here, or show you, is the fact that this does not look like a tactical backpack. It is not black. It doesn't have MOLLE webbing all over the front of it, which is something I really like about these style of backpacks. When I walk out of my house, I don't want to look like I'm gearing up to go on patrol. I want something that's low profile that doesn't scream, hey, look at me, I'm tactical. And this is a great backpack for that. You notice we're slick on the outside, so low profile, not a lot to hang up. But if you need access to pouches and whatnot, then on the inside of the front flap, we do have this Velcro that allows you to attach various different Maxpedition pouches or other hook-lined pouches to. This is a loop field here, so you do need hook back pouches and accessories, and they stick on there very well. One of the really nice features on this bag is this front panel does have a horseshoe zipper, so you can lay it down, pull it completely open, and access all the stuff that floats down to the bottom of your pack. Now, I carry things like my sunglasses cases, I've got headphones in here, ibuprofen bottle, that stuff always sifts down to the bottom because it's lower and it's easier to sift down there when contents start moving around. But the pack is wide enough that I do actually have a 3-ring binder stashed down in here, and that works just fine as far as the width of the pack. It's not stretching it out. So you have this really nice horseshoe zipper that folds everything down. You do have a pocket inside here, which I've got charging cables and headphone cables, a little multi-tool, all kinds of stuff in there. Now, you don't want to load this up really heavily because it does want to pull everything down, but the zippers are strong enough that if you're just getting in here for something quick, it's not automatically going to pull the whole top down. When we get in here on the inside, we do have a pocket on the inside on either side. So if you've got flat items, like we've got a lockpick kit, a comb, that kind of stuff, obviously for the beard, not for the hair. But that's nice. It sits in there, and I would only put flat things in the side here. These are really not designed for like water bottles. You may be able to get like a small smart water bottle in the sleeve on the inside, but you don't really want to stretch those out because then it's going to cause problems in the outer pockets. Now, we'll flip back to the front here real quick, and I'm going to show you a really cool feature. The Entity line has these wings, and the wings have magnets in them. So if you keep the wings deployed like this, then you do have the ability just to hold this up and the wings will snap into place. And if you just need to quickly pick up your bag and carry it from one spot to the other and then lay it open again, then the wings will help hold the top up. Now, I've got a ton of crap in these side pockets, so the wings don't want to stay there all the time, but you can see I just flipped it up and it's stuck there. Now, if you don't want to utilize the wings, then there are these neat little pockets behind them, so you can tuck them away like I do. And because the magnets are opposing polarity, when you tuck them in there, this is actually a pass-through in here. When you tuck them in here, they stick to each other, and they will hold each other in. So really nice design feature. And that's one of the things that I really like about Maxpedition is all these little features, when you add them up together, makes a really well thought out bag. Now, one other thing that we will talk about here when we have the bag open is in the sides here, we have these Hideaway straps. And when you actually get the bag, these will be attached. And they have a clip on here. And you can attach these guys to the front face. And that will keep your front from coming all the way down. So if you don't want to be able to lay the bag out flat, you can put these guys in here, and that will allow you just to rip the top down and stop at a certain point. Now again, they are really easy to take off. We just snap them, unhook them. I like to flip the little metal bail back there to keep from catching on anything, and then we just stuff them away in their little sewn-in pockets on the sides there, and they're out of the way, and then we have the ability again to pull the bag open and lay it completely flat. We do have another, say, document pouch kind of thing. It's not really not a document pouch, it's too short, but we have another zippered pouch up here for smaller items that you don't want to fall down into the back. I put most of the little items in the front pouch because it's easier for me just to unzip it in the car, get to what I need to get to, and then zip it back up. So the interior on the back of the pack is just regular nylon material. I really wish they would have put loop on the back of the pack as well. We do have cable pass-throughs on the side here. There's really no hydration capability in this. Obviously, you could stick a bladder in here, but there's nothing in the top to fasten the bladder to. So these are really cable pass-throughs. So if you have media devices or something in here, comms or whatever, then you can pass the cables through to the outside. They are really heavy-duty webbing, and it is just basically an overlap type setup. So they stay closed. You're not going to worry about stuff getting in or stuff getting out. But they're there if you choose to utilize them. Let's talk about the zipper pulls real quick. As you saw me zip the outer zipper up here, they do have these really large zipper pulls that you can really get your finger in and get a nice grab hold of. And then on the zippers themselves, they do have a locking feature, so you can throw a padlock through here if you want to secure your bag closed. Say, for instance, you're going to have to check this, or you're in a situation where you have to leave your bag, then you can throw a luggage lock through it and lock the guy closed so nobody has access inside the main compartment. We won't talk about actual security because anything with zippers, you can defeat a zipper very quickly. But if you want to keep honest people honest, then you can clip a luggage lock through there. Now let's talk about these side pockets here real quick. I am not 100% on board with the design of the side pockets. Now, this is a very personal type deal. The side pockets here have a horseshoe zipper on them, and they're really designed so that if you lay the pack down this way, or if you have the pack stood up, then you can pull the zipper and you can get partway down in here. If it is laying on its side, then you can flop that open, and you see I've got my MacBook power cord in here. And we have another zippered pocket on the outside. And then we have smaller pockets and pen organizers on the inside portion of it. The outer zippered pocket, I would leave that again for cables, stuff that's flat, because if you load that up, it makes it very difficult to use the outer slash pocket here for water bottles or whatever. Now, the reason I say these zippers are a personal preference is because in a field environment where you're working in dirt and nastiness and all that, I like to be able to lay my pack down like this with the suspension up because this is the part that's against my body. So the bottom of the bag, that can lay in nastiness and it's not a big deal. It's not going to be pushing on my body when I put the pack back on. The side pockets work fine for that if you're going to lay it face down, because then when you open them, the pocket opening is facing up. Now, if you have it in the front seat of a car like you would normally do, because this is the flat part, when you throw this in the front seat of a car, you're normally going to throw its suspension down, and I will usually have its suspension down with the bottom of the pack facing the front of the car. That way any water bottles or that don't go shooting out when you hit the brakes. But this is the most stable way to have the pack in the car. I find if we flip it over the other direction, and I have it sitting in the car like this, when you hit the brakes, the pack has a tendency to rock. And again, I'm law enforcement, so I do occasionally have to operate my vehicle with lights and sirens on in an aggressive manner. And so then you hit the brakes to come up on an intersection, your bag's in the floor. And not a big deal, but you have to fish it out, and it's a pain when you do that time and time again. So again, you want to lay it this way. Well, when the bag is in the front seat of your car this way, the pocket is down. You're constantly having to pick it up if you need to access the side pockets. And I usually will put things in the side pockets, like on this one. I've got gum, pens, that kind of thing in here. Quick access items in this side pocket that is usually the closest to me, that's pointing towards the driver's side. So I really wish that for an urban pack, these pockets had been reversed so that the opening is towards the outside. Now, again, there are pros and cons to everything, because having the zipper closer to your body also makes it harder for somebody to access it without you noticing. They have to get in here between your body and that to be able to access the zipper. Instead, if it was on the outside, it would be easier for them to hook the zipper and pull it down. So, again, pros and cons. It's not really a dig on the bag. It's just kind of one of my preferences. Now let's talk about the outside side pockets. These are kind of water bottle pockets, but they don't have any bellows to them. They are just flat pockets. Now, I've got an RX bar in this one. Those slide in there really easy. Snack bars, that kind of stuff will go in there. On the other side here, you notice that I do have a smart water bottle, and you can see that this pouch is pretty much bowed out. I don't really have anything thick in this side, just some gum and some pens in that. So that I can actually get the smart water bottle into the pouch. On this other side that I have my power brick and cable and that for my laptop in, I can't really get a water bottle in here. It jams up on that power brick. It doesn't want to lay flat, and it wants to pop out on me. So one thing that I really wish they did on here is I wish they sewed in some kind of elastic or some kind of bellows to allow you to get a water bottle in here. I realized that they were probably trying to keep a streamlined design on the pack, and I really appreciate that because I like how streamlined this pack is for an everyday carry type pack. But a water bottle is a fact of life. I think most of us carry some kind of water bottle, soda bottle, coffee, thermos, something like that in the bag. So it's really nice to be able to just slap that in the outside and grab it really quickly. One of the last pockets to talk about is the laptop pocket. Now, this is one of the few backpacks in this size category that allows you to carry a concealed weapon and a laptop at the same time. Usually they make you choose between one or the other. The laptop pouch is usually lined with Velcro and will serve double duty as a concealed carry pouch. With the Entity 23, I can carry my laptop and I can carry a handgun in it and keep the two separate. The laptop pouch is very easily just accessed from a double pull zipper over the top here, and flip it forward, and it does have room for a 15-inch MacBook. I've got my 13-inch MacBook Air in here, and there is plenty of room for that. One thing that I did notice, though, is the padding at the bottom of the bag is a little bit thin, so be real careful if you're carrying a computer in here that you don't drop your pack on the ground. There have been a couple of times where I've set it down and I've felt that thump, and it just doesn't give me a lot of confidence that I'm not banging the laptop around. There is padding at the bottom, there's just not a ton of it. So keep that in mind, set your bag down gently, don't go throw it down on the ground. Again, these zippers do have a facility on them that you can lock them if you wish, so you can lock those closed and make it a little bit more difficult for somebody to quickly access it. Now we'll get down here to the concealed carry portion of the bag, and we have a single zipper down here. There's no double zippers, and the zipper is at the bottom, which is really nice because it means it won't work down on its own. It's at the bottom. Gravity assists in keeping it closed. When you pull it open, and you can access it from either side, you get to choose which side you want to use. When you pull it open, you're accessing a loop-lined compartment, and there is loop on both sides, so you can decide how you want to attach your holster. And I have one of Maxpedition's holster inserts in here, and I have no problem whatsoever carrying the Glock 19 with the Enforce Light and an RMR on it, and it sits in here very, very nicely. Now, one thing to bear in mind with this kind of setup, though, is reholstering is not going to be rapid. Getting in here and getting the handgun out is fairly quick, but when you go back in to reholster it, there is the possibility that since this is a soft-sided holster, that it can close back up, so just plan for that. You're not going to reholster quickly, and again, if you're carrying something like a Glock, you always want to make sure that that trigger is holstered, or trigger is covered when you've got one in the pipe. And with the Maxpedition holster, it does cover the trigger when it is actually in the holster, but you do want to bear in mind that nothing should go in this compartment except for your handgun and magazines. You shouldn't try to put any extra accessories, pens, whatever in here. Only the handgun and your magazines to be able to keep things safe. Now, because it is loop lined, you really have a pretty wide variety of places that you can put your holsters. Glock 17 will fit in here no problem, a full-size 1911. It just depends on how you orient it. And unfortunately, because of the way the pocket is set up, it's very difficult for me to actually show you guys how the handgun is oriented in there. But I have the muzzle canted a little bit towards the back and down. Now, one really cool thing about the bag is there is a lockout double-sided hook Velcro strip that comes with the bag. And so, for instance, here I want to be able to utilize this side of the bag to gain entry, and I don't want to accidentally come in from the other side of the bag and be trying to grab over the muzzle of my handgun. So while I do have a zipper over here on the opposite side of the bag, if I try to get in here, there is a Velcro closure here, or a hook and loop closure, and it's pretty difficult to get in past that. So you realize pretty quickly you're going into the wrong side of the bag. When you first get the bag, the strip is down the middle, so you can go in there, pull that out, and reorganize it to whichever side you want. Again, a really nice feature. If you want it, it's there. If you don't want to use it and you want to be able to access your stuff from either side, then you can just peel it out, throw it somewhere, and you're good to go. Now, on the back of the bag, we have a really nice suspension system here, really good padding. I like the fact that the straps, the shoulder straps, have kind of a thick stiffening material on the outside, and then you have this nice padding on the inside. We also have pretty thick webbing here, but it is seatbelt type webbing, so it really has a nice soft, smooth feel to it. You're not going to have to worry about it tearing up your clothing. You do have loops here to add any of Maxpedition's pouches, and they do have a special pouch line for the Entity packs that matches the material. I got one that would fit my iPhone 7 Plus, but unfortunately, what I found out is that where they sew these in, and with that massive pouch for the iPhone 7 Plus, it rides up here, and it's really kind of in the way for me. I don't really like to have it up there. It's a little bit bulky. So I don't really run that, but for those of you guys that do wear your pack all the time, and maybe you have a smartphone that you want to be able to run headphones from and listen to music, then those are great. I just really wish that it was a little bit lower down on the straps. You do have a sternum strap on here, and they use really nice Duraflex buckles, but they are not super heavy duty. They're kind of skeletonized, and they really have a nice overall look to them. Duraflex buckles are fairly durable, so it's not something I'm worried about them becoming damaged. Now, one ding that I will give them on these shoulder straps is the shoulder strap, or I'm sorry, the sternum strap. The sternum strap is not removable. It is kind of sewn on here. You can slide it up or slide it down on both sides to get it where you want across your sternum, but you can't take it off completely. And for an urban bag, I really would prefer to go without the sternum strap for most of my daily use, because it's just grabbing the bag by one shoulder strap and throwing it over. And I find this gets wrapped up and it gets in the way constantly. So I really wish there was a way to just take it off, stash it in a pocket, and that way if I'm going somewhere where I'm going to have both straps on and use it for an extended amount of time, then I could use it. So not really the greatest thing there. Now, the back material, we do have this nice spacer mesh here that's very comfy on the back, and they do have an opening down the middle. Just a really nice overall design aesthetic. And then one additional thing that I thought was really cool is there is a side-to-side pass-through here. So if you're using this with wheeled luggage that has an extendable handle, then you can pull the Velcro open and you can stick that handle through, and your bag will sit on top of your wheeled luggage. Now, down here at the bottom, you can't see it right now because I have it stashed away, but it does have a waist strap. Thankfully, they did put pass-throughs here so you can thread it back through, and I've got it behind the back panel hidden because most of the time when I throw this on, I have a gun belt on, and I don't want this waist strap getting hooked up on my gun belt when I throw it on or throw it off. Most people, I don't know if they're actually going to want to use that waist strap. Again, in an urban environment, this is a 23-liter pack. You're not going to really load it up with a ton of weight, I think, on a daily basis. So, you know, that's something that you want to keep in mind there. A couple of last items that I want to point out here is this really nice grab handle that they put on the top, and then they put a grab handle on the side here as well. And they did a really good job with this. The top grab handle sticks up just enough that it's really quick to grab it when I'm getting in or out of the car. And it's almost like a rope or cord material. It's kind of rounded. And then it is sewn in here. So it gives you a lot of faith that it's not just going to tear loose very easily. And they did do a really good job of attaching it down here on the sides. Now, in addition to the handle on the top, you do have one handle on either side of the pack. So if you're going to grab it from the side, it's a real great option to have. And what I like about these guys is they fold so flat when you're not using them that you can almost forget about them. I haven't hung these up on anything, which is pretty amazing to me. Usually I would think I would catch this on the butt of a gun or something, throwing it on or off, but that really has not been the case. Now, overall, I have really enjoyed using the Maxpedition Entity 23 as my everyday backpack. The 23-liter version, I think, is the perfect size for a regular computer slash briefcase style bag that you are just carrying to and from work. They do have a larger version. They also have smaller versions as well as a sling pack version available. So you can really get whatever will work best for the amount of gear that you need to carry. But for me, the 23-liter, I think, is just about perfect for day trips, running around the city, that kind of thing. I love the fact that I can carry my laptop and I can carry a handgun, that I don't have to choose one or the other. And I love the fact that it does not look like a tactical bag. It doesn't look like I actually have a gun in the bag. And that's really important when you're going about your daily routine. And it's really important for guys that maybe have workplace rules that don't allow them to carry a firearm there. So it's a really nice overall bag. The materials are very high quality. The zippers are great. They run smoothly. There is a ton of detail and a ton of attention put into every part of the design in this bag. Now, you do pay for that. This is on the more expensive side of the backpacks that are out there, but I think you're getting a good deal of quality for the price. You can go cheaper, but I've noticed that when you go cheaper on everyday backpacks, you end up blowing out seams and blowing out zippers, and the webbing tears out. You just end up having a lot of problems over time, and then you have to buy a new bag, and it ends up being wasted money. So I do think this is a great high quality bag. I've really been happy with all the Maxpedition products we've used, and I really want to thank Maxpedition for sending this bag out to us to review. If you guys want to check out more information on the Entity line, we will leave a link for the video that we shot with Tim at Maxpedition out at the SHOT Show that covers a little bit more of the design theory behind the bag, and we will leave a link down below on where you can go if you want to pick one of these up for yourself. If you guys have any questions or comments about the Entity line or the Entity 23 specifically, please leave them in the comments section below or send them to us on Facebook or Twitter. If you like the video, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, get out and shoot.